Okay, so for our next upgrade, going to the 20-gallon and turn it into an axolotl tank. I hope you watched the channel when I made this stand. I made it out of a kitchen cabinet. Of course, we got the stand on top. So what we're going to do different this time is we've seen a little video about using these splash guards for the substrate for axolotls so that they don't swallow the sand or the pebbles. I got a couple of highs, the old highs I used to use, and the other one that I'm going back with. And hopefully this should be a quick setup. What we're going to just get done today is we're going to get the backer board in, get the cracks filled in with sand, and then get some water in there, and then we're going to call it a day just to get that water started cycling. Alright, let's get to it. So we got our splash board in there now, laid out just the way we want it. And I love it because, as I said, that is the splash board that goes up against the wall in the kitchen or in the bathroom. And since it's all a piece of tile, it won't come apart. They can't move the rocks. They can't swallow them because of the size. So our next step that we're about to do now is just get some sand, put it in there and kind of level it out just enough for it to fall into the little cracks so that we have a natural looking scenery. I think it's going to turn out pretty nice. Okay, this is what it looks like once we put the sand in there with the backsplash board to make it look more natural. As I said, we're not going to do a lot in this tank. This one's going to go real fast because the old tank we had, we're just upgrading it to use it for the axolotl tank. So all we're going to put is 2 highs in there because we're going to put 2 axolotls, filter in the middle, and I'll probably try to do a potted plant because I've never done it before, just to see how that works out. But for tonight, we're about to put those 2 houses in, put our little sponge filter in to start the cycling, and put some water in it, and we're going to call it quits. We still got to unbox our other filter, the new filter we just bought for our axolotl tub, for the isolation tubs. Let's go ahead and knock this out. It's going to be a real short video. Just want y'all to see what this tank going to look like. Alright, we on day 2. What we about to do real fast is go ahead and treat our tank with this water conditioner. Put 1 cap in yesterday, but it needs 5 caps. Then we're going to drag our other axolotl tank in and set it in place while that's being treated. And then I'm going to grab a couple of snails to put in there when we get done tonight, just to get the cycle going. And we also have to do our unboxing of our filter for our isolation tank. Then we need to get some water set up for our axolotl water treatment and change. So yeah, a lot of work to do tonight. Let's go ahead and get it knocked out. We about to unbox this Magnetarium mini hang-on back power filter for our isolation tub. We've been using a little beta filters, but they work okay, but the problem is they don't stick inside of the plastic tubs we be using. So I need to get some that'll hang on the side and be kind of secure. So we're about to try this out. And they haven't had their water changed for a day because they had medicine, and I see I had some water set up over there for them, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to discard that because my wife's been doing her little crafts and I just don't want to take a chance of anything cross-contaminating. So let's unbox this, set this up, and get it ready to use. So it looks like everything's in one bag. And of course, we have the instructions that we never read. Looks like everything is already put together. Got my little top, little filter brush. Looks like it comes with one little tube with a little motor inside of it. We got a little filter rack, a little simple. Put together some just to add some filtration in the tubs. I still do try to do a water change every day when they're in ISO. That is the point of them being in isolation. But for those days I work real late, come home too tired to get it, I want to be able to go at least a day or two without that. So I got a little wonder of how big it's going to fit in there. I'm about to break this thing before we even get started, y'all. I think I already broke it. Alright. This top sits on there just like that. I think it sits on there just like that. Voila. Simple little hang on back filter. Let's see how it works out. Alright, so that's how it turned out. I had to put it on the side because the back was kind of flimsy. See how it leans? I'm going to do some upgrading to the thing to make it sit up straight later, but I didn't want to put it in the back right now because the plugs are back there, and if it leaks, I don't want nothing bad to happen. And now I got to get rid of a lot of these cords. I'm going to go pick up one more because I'm going to only have 2 more left in isolation after this week. Our boy, the brain, will finally be going into a tank for the first time. But alright, let's get to these snails that I've been talking about. Alright, y'all, this is my crowded grow out tank of all my guppies. And my snails is way too overcrowded. Things are starting to pass away. Mainly the snails, but got a bunch of snails on that cucumber right there. We started putting the cucumbers in here so we can snatch them out. And I don't think it's wise to just pull them out and drop them in the other tank because they're in different rooms, so the temperature is going to be different. But I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, we did that. Don't know how that's going to work out. See, one of them fell to the bottom right there. The other ones are still on the cucumber, and we got a day or two for this to cycle, so gonna see if they pull through okay. Pretty sure all that's gonna happen is they're gonna have that white ring go around them like the other ones, but the other ones that I put in there I will go ahead and acclimate. I might go ahead now and get that other tank in here tonight, or I might not. I don't know. I'm kind of tired. Been going through a lot with my oral surgery, so yeah, I might just call it. Let's find out. Alright, y'all, so we woke up to two big problems today. First one, I think we've already snagged. We had water all over our floor. And it looks like what was going on is my filter was really over dirty, and I have extra padding in there to try to clear out some of this water tanning. And those pads were touching the water, which seems like it was causing the water to run backwards and down to the ground back here. But it is because, as I said, all my filters was dirty. You see how that water's just running over. So we're about to take those out, clean those, and then see if that fixes the problem. I already don't see any leakage anymore, but it was a big worry because of my cords on the ground. Don't want no electrical fire. And let's go to the other room. Last night I brought y'all in here and we grabbed out some snails at our grow out tank. You see the water is low, but we woke up this morning and our filter was no longer running. It is plugged in and making a noise like it's running, so we got to pull that out, find out what's going on with that. If that doesn't get to work, then we got to go ahead and buy another pump. But yeah, those are two things we're working on today, plus setting up the other pump and still getting that water cleared out. All right, let's get this day started. So we got one problem fixed. Just had to really clean that filter. You can barely see it in the back, but you can see that the water is moving. And I already started taking some snails out of there to put into my 20-gallon axolotl tank. And we're probably going to take some of these guppies out and put in there too, just to see how they'll do. But I'm going to get ready to start giving these guppies away today, so I'm going to go tell everybody to get their tanks ready. Alright, and for my other tank, I'm just going to go ahead and run out to PetSmart, buy some new filters, see how that works out. But before we go, we're going to set up our water for our axolotl water changes. Alright, let's get it started. Just a quick update. This is like day 4. I could have pulled them out today and put the axolotls in there because I believe the water's ready. But I'm going to wait till tomorrow morning. I'm going to take the little guppies that I have in there out because we're not running any other fish in there with them. We'll put the axolotls in there and close out this video. Alright, just wanted y'all to see how everything was going. Let's see, there's about 3 or 4 guppies in there. Bunch of snails. I'm going to leave the snails in there. We're taking the black snails out to put into the next tank, and these are going to have the golden snails. But yep, that's it. Let's get till tomorrow. Alright, tank life. So today is that day. We're about to get Hansel and Gretel out of their little bitty 2-gallon holding tank that they've been in since we basically bought them, and put them into their new 20-gallon home. Should probably be their home for just about 2 to 3 months till I upgrade their tank again. But a quick view of the 55 that we set up the other day. Now we're having some strange stuff going on with this tank. We've had 2 fish just totally disappear overnight, and one was within a couple of hours because I looked at the tank last night around 1 o'clock, and then I woke up about 8 and the fish was gone. There's no bones, no fins, no nothing in there. We've had this happen before. I would actually say this is the second or maybe third time. But I'm about to be installing some cameras inside the crib to go with the ones that are outside, just to kind of see what's going on, and probably put a camera on the tank because that is very weird. Then, of course, we got the other 20-gallon axolotl tank that we'll be putting together as soon as we get them in their home, which will be for Stubby and Midnight. And those are just their grow out tanks to get them bigger. But all right, let's get this day done. So we got Hansel and Gretel in their little bitty 2-gallon tank. I think this is a 5-gallon tank. I'm sorry. We're about to get them into a 20-gallon tank, and then next will be Stubby and Midnight. So what I'm about to start off with is I'm about to take half of the water out of their tank, put it in this bucket, then scoop them out and put them in the bucket with that water, and then we're going to start to drip acclimate them for the next about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we'll go ahead and get them into their new home. So we got Hansel and Gretel in this bucket and some of the water out of the tank they just came out of. What I'm going to do is simply take a cup, and every about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, I'm going to add a cup of this tank's water into that bucket with them to acclimate them to this temperature and to this pH level. Then we'll go ahead and get them released into their new home and get this over with. All right, let's get started. So it's been about an hour. I don't know if you can tell how much water I put in that bucket, but you can see how much water I've taken out of there in the last hour and put in there with them. On top of the fact that the tanks are in the same room that they're coming out of, so I'm not too much worried about it, but I love my babies, so I went ahead and did this just in case. Let's go ahead and get them out of this bucket and into their new home.